Hello. So, just to give you a bit of background info, I did all of this filming yesterday, and yeah, the SD card was corrupted, so I lost most of it. But as I have to do the journey again today anyway, it's not that much of a drama. It just means that you're going to have it in reverse. So one thing I do notice, this is a lot easier to wheel about, so getting it out a lot easier, but it does feel very small when I ride it because I'm so used to the GS Adventure. I quite like the Adventure for the bigger tank, and you get more wind protection, rain protection, so as a touring bike I prefer it. If I was whizzing about, this would be better in my view. So yeah, looks quite nice in the triple black. There's a few little subtle differences and stuff, like the footrests are rubber, whereas on the Adventure they're metal serrated. I find the metal ones quite grippy, to be fair, so I prefer that, especially with my artificial leg. It sits better on the peg. This one's got the old billet mirrors, which they're a bit less vibe prone, but I mean, for the cost of them it's not a deal breaker. Other than that, it's pretty much the same. It's a bit more nimble, but yeah, there's a bit more wind around your legs, and that's about it really. Handling wise, don't really notice a lot of difference. The standard seat, this is different to my standard seat. It's got like a hard ridge here, which I noticed after a couple of hours. But I'm a big bloke, so I tend to sit back up. And I've got sergeant seats on mine, so they're more sort of tractor bucket shape. So, let's crack on. We've got hour and a half, 2 hour ride. And Barnstormers are having a barbecue today in aid of air ambulance, so if I'm lucky, might get some nosh. Right, welcome back, fueled up. Short ride here, so warmed it all up. So, take this opportunity to have a little chat with everything I talked about yesterday, if I can remember. A lot of it is just wibble. Let's see how it goes. So yeah, the biggest differences I noticed riding this compared to an Adventure is, well, I've already said the seat, and the suspension on this is firmer regardless of whether you're in road mode. Road mode on mine, it's not wallowy, but it's a lot softer. So yeah, I don't know whether that is a inherent difference across all Adventures and normals, or whether that's just these bikes. I might do a bit of a cheeky go down the inside malarkey here. There was a recall on it for reprogramming of something or other. Yeah, it helps you. I'd have to read the letter. But basically it's something to do with the drive shaft, and when the drive shaft is unloaded and then loaded again, so like you've leapt off a sort of jump, it can be catastrophic. So they are recalling all of the GS range to have that done. Mine was due for its service, so I just waited till it went in. So it'll be interesting to see if I notice any difference whatsoever because I don't know what they've reprogrammed or how that fixes it. I have no idea. He did say that they would put mine on last night for that, because sometimes it can take a long time for it to download from the mothership, and so they leave it on overnight. Lots of Harleys out. There's a Harley dealership further up this road. There's another one. Some of them ignore you. You got the two extremes, haven't you? A BMW GS rider and a Harley rider. Who nods first? So yeah, when I pick my bike up, well, I'll go through a little mini review of it, what I think of it. And what I think of the new tyres, because literally all I did was yesterday's ride there on them, so they're a little bit fresh still, shall we say. And then it'll be a good comparison, because I've jumped straight off of this, which has got the Bridgestones on, and then yeah, I've not had Dunlops for many years, so I thought I'd give them a go. Yeah, they're alright on the journey there. The true test will be in the wet. Hopefully, the other issue, I had the issue with the SD card. guys from Easy Rider having a nice day out. Cracking view from here. Now they've cut all the trees down. Don't know if the GoPro picked that up. Bud. Lunge there from the car. Fuck, that's loud. Got another one coming up behind. Looks like he wants to get past, but we're going to have to wait. That's all. So we're just about to get to Barnstormers now. Just not too bad, so I'm going to have to lift the visor up so you get more wind noise. Go and pay the bill, see you in a bit. So, welcome back. It appears that I've done a load of filming and talking without actually filming it, which is annoying. I've only had that one on. So, can't even remember where I said. So, 6,000 mile service is done. It cost me £283, I think, including the VAT. So I don't think it's that bad. BMW main dealer, so they've changed the oils, so engine, drive, clutch, brake oils, and yeah, they just give it all a once over. I normally send you a little video. Blah. So I haven't got yet. They normally send you the guy who searches your bike. He videos it and says what he's done. Get an email with it in. And then they normally point out, they tell you how much tyre tread you got, brake pad, all that sort of stuff. And let's go for another plat. Yeah, nothing's wrong with it. Everything's fine. They did the recall upgrade onto the software to something. It's got something to do with the drive shaft. When it unloads and then you land again, and you still got the throttle on. Apparently they've had some break or something. I don't know. It doesn't. I don't tend to do that, so I didn't really read it properly. But so that got done when it was in for its service, and riding it I couldn't tell you any difference, so that's all good news from me. And yeah, I've got the new tyres on this, Dunlop Mutants, and so far I'm quite happy with them. They haven't jumped on it and gone, wow, these tyres are like next level or anything like that, but equally they've offered plenty of grip, and they have a nice neutral sort of steering feel to them. The bike goes where you want it to go, etc, etc, so no complaints there. The test will be when it's damp or wet, how grippy. They're supposed to be like really good in the wet, and the tread pattern, the cut of them looks like they almost look like a set of wet tyres for racing. So yeah, I'll keep that updated as and when it happens. But hey ho, it's all a learning curve. A bit like thinking your camera's on and talking away for an hour and finding it's not on. So then you have to do it all over again. So what did I do? I talked about the 6,000 miles so far on my bike, so we'll have to do that again. So I bought the bike in October last year and quickly did the breaking in sort of mileage. It's 600 miles, 1,000 kilometres, something like that. So it went in for its first service. And then I didn't use it that much because it was winter and I don't really ride in the winter anymore. Did a lot of that when I was dispatch riding and stuff. And I've got my old bike still, the Kawasaki, which I'll use in shittier weather. So this is, I say 6,000 miles, I've only done 5,000 something. But, oh god, I was tempted to go up the outside there. Because we're going on holiday, it'll be over the mileage by the time I got back, so it's put it in early. And I've had no issues whatsoever in those 6,000 miles. Other than the battery didn't have enough oomph in it because I'd left it for go on, mate. I've left it in the shed garage, and it's not hooked up to a battery tender or anything like that, and so it started okay. So it flies where it gets a bit windy, and I rode like 10 minutes down the road to a petrol station, filled up with fuel, and then it didn't start. But I was lucky enough, there was a guy there with a sort of off-road Land Rover, and he jumped it for me and it fired up straight away. And then I was travelling to see my parents who live in Worcester, so because I filled up I had plenty of fuel so I could do it. So by the time I got there it was all charged and all good. So it hasn't really done it since. So now I have a solar panel on the roof which trickle charges the battery. So whilst it won't save a battery that needs charging up because it hasn't got enough volts in it, it'll keep a good battery good, if you know what I mean. So that works. So that was the only issue I had. Other than that, see, that was done in Universal Bloke Biker Law. 2 nods and the whole conversation was, yeah, go mate, you can pull out. Oh, cheers mate, nice one. So yeah, I'm happy to report, I'm more than happy with the bike. It does everything that I bought a bike to do. So it puts a smile on my face, number one. And it takes us touring. So it can take me and my wife and our luggage with ease and cover quite long distances in comfort. MRA screen, because I find this a lot better than the standard screen. Standard screen, even in the highest position, I find it hits the top of my head just here, so I get the bobblehead. And this, even though it's lower, it just cleans the air. So yeah, I don't feel anything at the moment. But it's normally about 70 mile an hour on the motorways it does it, but yeah, this is brilliant for that. And then if you're in a really hot country, or it's really hot here, and you're not on the motorways, you can just wind it down. And right now, if I get it the right way, there you go. I don't know why they put the handle on this side, it's like, I don't know. Maybe it works better like that, but yeah. So yeah, it's like right down, so I don't know what that sounds like on the mic. I can hear it hitting my helmet, but at least when you're hot, you get a nice bit of air going over your head. Well, I normally have it up. So yeah, that's good. TFT, I love that. Clear, can read everything. It has all the information you need on the one screen. And I'm not having to squint to read the little things. So I like that. And even my wife, when she's pillion, she can just look over my shoulder and she can read the time. She can see the range, which is at the top there. If she's wondering how long it'll be before we stop. So yeah, it's really clear. Love that. I've got the metal sort of guard on it, which has got a little sunshade on it, but it came with that. It doesn't actually need it. But I have heard that you can just pull these off. So there have been cases where people have had their TFTs stolen. One guy had his... they pulled the dash off. He said the bike still started and that, but the indicators didn't work, lights didn't work, because I imagine all the info goes through the dash. And then I'm not sure how, but he didn't notice straight away that they'd stolen his Akrapovic silencer as well, because when you think they're £1,000 and all that holds them on is 2 bolts. And then yeah, you have to take the heat shield off, which is a couple of little screws. That's it. 10-minute job, if that. I love the comfort, as in the physical size of the bike. I'm quite a big guy, 6'3", broad-shouldered. I find it super comfy. I don't have any bar risers or anything. Some people have bar risers, pull the bars back a bit, but yeah, my arms sit naturally there. I like the fact it's got cruise, so I can just flick that on now, and then I can, because I have arthritic thumb joints, which if I've been riding a long time and my hand has been in one position all the time here, it gets quite sore. So having the cruise means you can quite happily go along, and you can sort of flex your hand, get a bit of blood flowing around it, or even if you still have it resting on the bar, which you should, you're not having to hold the throttle. You can just rest your hand on it. So I like that. I like the adjustable suspension. So we're in dynamic suspension and dynamic pro on the throttle. So whatever mode it's in, if you just double press that button, it changes it. There's only a choice of 2. So now I'm in road, and instantly I feel it go soft. It becomes a lot more sort of, floaty's not the right word, but yeah, you wouldn't want to go like wanging through corners in this mode, but it makes it a lot more comfortable. And then you've got the mode here. You can only choose so many. So I've got Rain, Enduro, Road, Dynamic Pro. There is an Eco mode, but I never use it. So let's put it in Road mode. So the modes here alter the throttle, as in it doesn't alter the power, although Rain might. And Eco does as well, but it's how much initial, it softens it all off in road, but you still get, if you wind it to full power, it'll still be the same as Dynamic Pro, but Dynamic Pro is like a 1-to-1 ratio, and this is like more, so it gives you a gentler, don't know what they were dilly-dallying in the 50. So yeah, I find most of the time I'm in road and road suspension, and I'm just bimbling along. You can still make good progress, but when you want to have proper fun, put it in dynamic put the suspension in dynamic, and it really does change the attitude of the bike. It doesn't make it more powerful, but it's more engaging. And yeah, so that's I do like the suspension. I like the keyless as well. Some people really don't like it, and I'm not sure why. So the key is in my pocket. It tells you when it's out of range on the dash, so you can't ride off without it. And the petrol cap's keyless as well. I haven't had any issues with that. Some people have issues it doesn't open, but if you loosen those 2 bolts with the Torx key that is in the toolkit, it'll open. It's but I haven't had any issues with it, and I quite like the fact that you don't have to get the key out to do anything unless you want to take the seat off or do something with the panniers or unblock the sat nav. So yeah, keyless ride is good. The amount of times on my other bike I get all togged up, put my gloves on, I'm sat on the bike, and then I go, key, and it's tucked down my jeans pocket, and I have to take the gloves off again, get the key out, put it in. So it's like a first world problem, I know, but yeah, quite like the keyless bit. Switch gear all feels good quality, everything works. Like I said, should it really be backlit? If it was that, it would be brilliant, because at night you honestly cannot tell a difference between that button and that button, for example. And even when you're trying to find the menu or change the suspension, you're sort of, oh, is that the right one? Because you're doing it by feel. So yeah, that's road suspension and road throttle. Still plenty. And yeah, I find the so the seat position is quite comfy. Don't really get any niggles. I can do quite long days in the saddle and feel fine. And what I do like, and I can't really do it that well on my other bike, is that if you want to give your bum a bit of a rest, you can stand up. I still ride along quite happily stood up. Yeah, I can't do now. So even with an artificial leg, you can still do it. So, there you go. It's quite good for getting air into your jacket as well. So, and if you've got sweaty ball sack, when you can't tell because we're in a bright sunny day, but in the times that I have ridden at night, I find the light's quite good. It's got the LED adaptive headlight, so when you go around a corner the headlight stays level, which is really good, because you still see the inside of the corner. It doesn't as you tip in on a normal headlight, the inside disappears and it's pitch black, and so I find that really good. And the high beam, when you flick it on high beam, the headlight lifts up a bit as well to give you more throw down the road. I mean, it's a personal, I don't know, I don't dislike it because I don't see it because I'm sat on the bike, but a couple of people have said it to me, and when I've followed other ones, you can see what they're saying is that the tail lights and the indicators are all integrated. So when you brake and indicate as well, so like now the indicator will be going on the rear, but I'm not braking, so it's fine. But when you brake, the tail light washes, the brake light washes out the indicator. But I've noticed that with modern cars as well that have the LED lights that do that. Sometimes you can't see the indicator when they're braking. I think, yeah, they could have thought about that a bit better. So, I mean, the GS's still have the centre, the old tail brake light still, but it's not on as a tail light, it just comes on as a brake light. So the brake light is fully covered, because then you have 3 brake lights. But what they should have done maybe is turned off the brake light for the side that is indicating when the indicator is on. Tank level reserved reached. Right, to the next filling station. Or what? What are you going to do if I don't? Nothing. I mean, at least it's obvious. The reserves come on.